We work a lot with procurement teams in large global enterprise companies. And what I want every procurement team to have from a chief procurement officer down is a strategy for external workforce. And the external workforce for me is anytime they're using an external provider, whatever type of provider that is, technology, consultancy, agency, freelancer, platform, whatever it may be. And the world where companies are starting to use the right supplier for the right type of work is when everyone will benefit. I'm Danny Gao, co-founder and managing director at ProTeams.
This is Code Story, a podcast bringing you interviews with tech visionaries.
Spent 6 months moonlighting.
There's nothing on the back end.
Who share what it takes to change an industry.
I don't exactly know what to do
took
next.
many goes to get right.
Who built the teams that have their
A
back.
company is its people.
The teams help each other achieve
I was
more.
proud of our team.
Keeping scalability top of mind.
All that infrastructure was
Yes, we've been fighting it as we grow.
Total waste of time.
The stories you don't read in the headlines.
It's not an easy thing to achieve, mind
Took it
you.
off the shelf and dusted it off and tried it again.
To ride the ups and downs of the startup life.
You need to really want it.
It's not just about technology.
All this and more on Code Story.
I'm your host, Noah Labpart, and today how Danny Gao has built the Airbnb of people so you can build your flexible workforce with hypercare. Today's episode is brought to you by .tech Domains, and this one hits close to home. Back in 2016, I was building my startup and went hunting for that perfect .com and found next to nothing. So I did what every founder does, settled. Here's what I wish someone had told me. You're building a tech startup. Just get a .tech domain. It instantly tells investors and customers what you're about. Don't overthink it. Secure your .tech domain today from any registrar of your choice. This episode is sponsored by Unblocked. Unblocked is the context layer your agents are missing. It synthesizes your PRs, docs, Slack, and tickets into organizational context that agents actually understand. So they make better plans, write higher quality code, use fewer tokens, and require fewer correction loops. If you're running Claude Code, Cursor, or any agentic workflow, Unblocked is worth a look. Learn more at getunblocked.com/codestory. This episode is sponsored by Mesmo. If your team is collecting large volumes of logs, metrics, and traces, but still struggling to get timely answers, Mesmo can help. Mesmo is an active telemetry platform that processes and enriches observability data in real time before it's stored or analyzed. That means lower data volume, lower cost, and faster root cause analysis across your existing observability tools. To see how it works, get a demo at mesmo.com/codestory. That's MEZMO.com/codestory. This episode is sponsored by BrainGrid. If you are building with AI coding tools, but your features keep breaking, you need to check out BrainGrid. It is the product management agent for AI builders. BrainGrid turns messy ideas into clear specs, tasks, and prompts that coding agents like Cursor and Claude can actually build the right way. Ship real software, not fragile prototypes. Start free at braingrid.ai. Danny Gao was born and raised in the UK and now lives outside of London. He attended university in Nottingham, the same one from Robin Hood. He loves challenges, and not just any challenges, the hard ones. He's done Ironman competitions, ultra marathons, climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and jumped out of a perfectly good airplane, to name a few. He loves doing them once, and then never again. He's got 2 small kids and believes in work hard, play hard. Danny has worked in many roles in the past across enterprises and the like. What he found most difficult was scaling himself. He got to talking with his now co-founder about building something around the idea of scaling oneself and took it to some businesses to validate it. Once he saw them get excited about it, he figured they were onto something. This is the creation story of ProTeams.
The story of ProTeams. So we're a freelancer marketplace platform. I like to refer to us as the Airbnb of people. essentially, we are a solution that helps large multinationals with access to freelance contractors, experts, people on the market. And we do that in a few different ways. We either give them access to dedicated people for them to work with, or we deliver it as end-to-end projects as pro teams. So we'll always bring in experts as part of our project team, but we'll deliver that as an end-to-end project, similar to a consultancy type model in some ways. And the background to pro teams was I had a very corporate career, worked at big corporates, then worked in startup world. I went independent myself and started working for myself and working with different companies. My challenge was always scalability. I was teaching people how to scale and I couldn't scale myself. And I looked at what other models there were of doing this. And I got talking to my co-founder about this model. And I said, not sure, it sounds a bit like recruitment. That's not really me. My background's in more tech and SaaS. But let me go and sense check with a few people. And I went and spoke to a few people in procurement in big corporates, and they said, we need this. And it happened a few times in a row. I was like, hey, there must be something here. My whole career has been, how do we solve problems and give them solutions? And so it was clearly a problem, and clearly this was a solution to their problem. And so it started as a sort of small thing initially and grown to a relatively big business now.
Let's dive into what you would consider the MVP for Pro Team. So that first product that you and the team set out to build, how long did it take to build and what sort of tools were you using to bring it to life?
I got started with my co-founder. He's the more techie one, I have to admit. So I'm more of the commercial one. Definitely in the rest of this interview, I'm going to help around some of the commercial aspects, and I'll definitely leave to him some of the tech aspect. I realize a lot of your audience is tech, but initially it was all around an online platform to allow freelancers to be able to match to corporates. And that was the initial thing, was how do we get invite-only platform that's very focused on senior quality. Initially, our first clients were in pharmaceuticals for some of the big pharmas out there. And so there was a large part of it was around pharma focus. And so a lot of it was people-led, but also from a platform perspective, that was what our initial MVP was.
Okay, let's stay on that for a minute. Tell me about a decision or trade-off you had to make in building that MVP and even starting the company. Decision or trade-off that was central to how you moved forward and how you coped with it.
I think the biggest decision was more on what do we focus on. We had clients from all different areas. So we're working mainly with procurement, IT, marketing, R&D, like consultancy, professional services. We're working with a plethora of different people. Some had really small projects, some had really big projects, some had very tactical requests. And so our big thing was, what do we want to be? And how do we want to focus from a platform perspective, but from a commercial perspective as well, on who we are? Because we're always leveraging external talent, we're able to be quite broad. But my whole business world has all been, how do we focus? So how do we be focused, but also be broad at the same time? And so that was a big thing, was like, what do we want to be and who do we want to be it for?
This episode is brought to you by Cash App. If you've been curious about Bitcoin but haven't made the jump yet, Cash App makes it easy. You can set up automatic purchases with zero fees or buy larger amounts, also with zero fees. Start small or go bigger. It's designed to be simple either way. For a limited time, new customers can get $10 added to their balance. Just use code CASHAPP10 when you sign up. And don't forget this part, send at least $5 to a friend in the first 2 weeks. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Bitcoin services provided by Block Inc. brand. For additional information, see the Bitcoin disclosures at cash.app/legal/podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by .tech domains. And this one hits close to home. Back in 2016, when I was building my own tech startup, I went on the hunt for that elusive .com. Looked high, looked low, and guess what I found? Nothing. What I did find cost me an arm and a leg. So I did what every founder does under pressure. Threw in extra letters, settled for the less than optimal name. And here's what I wish someone had said to me back then. Noah, you're building a tech startup. Just get a .tech domain. Tech startup, .tech domain. It could not be more obvious. It tells investors, customers, and anyone who looks at your website, really, that tech is at the core of your build. And I've kicked myself plenty since. especially when I see the clean and sharp names tech companies have landed on .tech. Nothing.tech, OneX.tech, Aurora.tech, CES.tech, Ultra.tech, Alice.tech, Neon.tech, Blaze.tech, Pi.tech. You get the idea. So take it from someone who learned it the hard way. If you're building a tech startup, don't overthink it. Secure your .tech domain today from any registrar of your choice. Cool. So let's move forward then. You've got the MVP done and ready. You're getting some traction, have made the hard decisions, and you're progressing and maturing the product. Tell me about how you did that, how you went about that process, and kind of wrap that in a box with what I'm looking for is how do you build your roadmap? How do you go about deciding that, okay, this is the next most important thing to build or to address with pro teams?
Yeah, so I'm client obsessed in terms of how we think about things and what we're doing. So a part of it, we're very up on, we're a small player compared to some big players in the US. It would be Upwork, TopTal would be probably two of the big ones that you may be familiar with. And so some of it is certainly we're looking at what are our competitors doing because that's obviously needs of the market. But the biggest thing is our customers saying to us, what are they frustrated with? What are they able to get today? And how do we make their life easier? How do we add value to them? And how do we make their life easier? What we found is some of the work we done was on platform and on development and on tech, but also some was on our service and how we deliver what we're doing for them. And so there was this balance between not just tech and building, but also how we advance our roadmap of service and delivery as well. So yeah, big balance, but that's very client-led, very customer-obsessed. And we were able to be very agile. Like we didn't need 12-month roadmaps and a normal roadmap in the you'd get in a normal SaaS world. We were very much agile to what clients really needed and delivering fast. We were also able to bring in external experts to help develop and build our roadmap quicker when we needed that. So that flexibility we're giving to our clients, we're also doing that internally with our team.
Tell me about how you built your team and what do you look for in those people to indicate that they are the winning horses to join you?
We've been very lucky, I would say. We've bootstrapped the business. We've never taken external funding. We've been profitable from day one and we've grown organically. And I've done a lot of PVC in the past and also worked for PLCs and FCs. And so with this business, decided to have a different strategy around that. And for me, I work in three ways. I work with people, I work with process, and I work with systems. Number one is good people. Number two is we need processes. And number three is we need systems to track and give us the data back of what's working and what's not. And so for the people side of things, it was very much about bringing in people that were curious, that were hardworking, and that were dedicated. And given what we had, we brought in a lot of young talent into our business, and some have worked and some haven't, right? We don't have I would love for us to have 100% hit rate of everyone we bring in works out and they're all great. But especially when you're bringing in quite young talent into the business, it is a bit of a numbers game. But luckily we've brought in a mix of experienced people as well as junior people into the team. And has worked very well. I would say I've worked in a lot of different businesses. I'd say the team here is extremely good. And we can't keep people that are not performing in the team, that are not working in the right way. It's meant we've been pretty ruthless on our team and our people, but in the right way.
This episode is sponsored by BrainGrid. Building with AI coding tools is exciting until the moment things start breaking. You ask for a small change and suddenly 3 other features stop working. AI gets confused, misses edge cases, and loses track of your intent. The problem is not code generation. The problem is planning. That is why BrainGrid exists. BrainGrid acts as your product management agent. It writes clear specification, maps UX flows, asks the clarifying questions you forgot to ask, and breaks big ideas into engineering-grade tasks that AI coding tools can build reliably. It guides Cursor, Claude Code, Replit, Windsurf, and others so they deliver features that work and keep working. Founders use BrainGrid to build real AI-native SaaS products without a technical background. If you want reliable features instead of fragile prototypes, try BrainGrid for free at braingrid.ai. That's braingrid.ai. This episode is sponsored by Mesmo. If you're responsible for reliability, performance, or platform architecture, you already know the problem. Telemetry volume is growing faster than teams can manage it. Mesmo addresses this by moving observability upstream. Instead of storing everything and asking questions later, Mesmo processes telemetry in motion, filtering, transforming, and enriching logs, metrics, and traces before they reach your observability backend. The result is cleaner data, reduced ingestion costs, and faster root cause analysis using the tools you already rely on. Mesmo integrates with platforms like Datadog, Dynatrace, and open source stacks, giving teams more control without adding operational overhead. This is especially useful for platform engineers and SREs supporting complex distributed systems where context and speed matter. To see how active telemetry works in practice, get a demo at mesmo.com/codestory. That's mezmo.com/codestory. I'm curious about scale, and scale can be technology, it can be business, it can be people. I'm curious about where or how you've approached scale in those areas, and then also if there's been interesting stories where you've had to fight scale as you've grown.
Yeah, I always talk about the move from startups to scale up to beyond. And so we're very much, I think we've gone through that startup phase. We're now in that scale up phase. And as we go through it, we're facing different growth opportunities, challenges, and scaling business, right? We've got more clients than ever before. We've got all of those clients, they're growing. The whole model is we bring on a client and they just grow and grow. So all of our clients are growing. They're giving us more and more projects and more requirements and all of that kind of stuff. So the complexity of what we're doing for them has also grown significantly from when we first started. And we're only working with large global multinationals. Global requirements are also coming to us where initially it might have just been a region or a country. It's then globally a huge scale. And so with that, our team we have a big talent team, we have a big account management team, sales team, marketing, project management team are the main sort of functions of the delivery of our business model. And then we've got obviously our tech team, we've got HR, finance, et cetera. From a scale perspective, it's all about doing the right thing at the right level. And I've helped a lot of businesses with this area. So for me, it's let's not think 3 years ahead. Our timeline right now is the next 18 months because our business is going to be very different 18 months from now and was very different 18 months ago. So I'm very much focused on what do we need to execute this month, next quarter, and then future, which is 12 months to 18 months away. And our business, as it keeps growing and scaling, are going to have different opportunities, challenges, teething problems. And my whole philosophy is we need to be 1% better every single day. So every day we need to look at ourselves and say, what do we need to do to be 1% better than yesterday? And if we keep on that trajectory, we'll be where we need to be in 18 months' time.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a fantastic daily goal. Okay, as you step out on the balcony and you look across all that you've built thus far with Pro Teams, what are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of seeing young people from not knowing much come into business. Some of them recently graduated, some of them young in their careers, and then watch them develop and see them grow, see them promote, earn more money, get bigger jobs, get bigger responsibilities, and enjoy what they're doing. And I think for me, that is success. And seeing those people strive, and from them being the quiet young person in the corner to now training, mentoring, managing other people in the business is, for me, the biggest thing I get out of this journey.
Let's flip the script a little bit. Tell me about a mistake you made and how you and your team responded to it.
We're human and we make mistakes. My first thing is when we make mistakes, I want us to be open, honest, transparent, honest with the client, honest with ourselves. Let's not try and hide behind it or pretend it didn't happen. But we all make mistakes every day and we need to learn from it, make sure it doesn't happen again and move on. Sometimes we didn't hire the people at the right time. We could have hired them earlier and we waited a bit too long. And actually the improvements they gave to our business, it was like, why didn't I just do that 6 months ago? And there was always a balance act of where the business was at for that time. But I think I'm more keen that where there's a gap and a clear gap, we press go on getting the right people in place.
This episode is sponsored by Unblocked. Your coding agents have access to your code base. Maybe you even connected other tools via MCPs. But access doesn't mean context. Agents can't reason across MCPs. They don't know your architectural decisions, your team's patterns, or why the API was shaped the way it is. So agents look in the wrong place and deliver bad outputs. Then you spend time correcting. More loops, more tokens. Unblocked is the context layer your agents are missing. It synthesizes your PRs, docs, Slack, and tickets into organizational context that agents actually understand. So they make better plans, write higher quality code, use fewer tokens, and require fewer correction loops. If you're running Claude Code, Cursor, or any agentic workflow, Unblocked is worth a look. Learn more at getunblocked.com/codestory. Let's move forward then. So this will be exciting. There's a lot going on in the industry, and I'm curious about what the future looks like for pro teams, for where the industry is going from a technology standpoint, all the AI buzzwords, insert your favorite there, and where you're taking the platform. What does the future look like for pro teams?
My vision of the business is we work a lot with procurement teams in large global enterprise companies. And what I want every procurement team to have from a chief procurement officer down is a strategy for external workforce. And the external workforce for me is anytime they're using an external provider, whatever type of provider that is, technology, consultancy, agency, freelancer, platform, whatever it may be. And the world where companies are starting to use the right supplier for the right type of work is when everyone will benefit. The small companies, the supplier side, the procurement side, the business side. And so I'm on a journey to try and get procurement teams. It's a huge amount of spend. They're spending a huge amount of money of their annual budget, somewhere between 4 billion, 6 billion a year, every year on external spend with suppliers. This is outside of software, purely just like on service type suppliers. And no procurement team have a strategy behind that spend. So it's a big, crazy thing that you've got this big spend. Your job is to look at the right solutions for the right price, yet you don't have a strategy behind how you're spending that money. And most procurement teams will admit that to anyone that's true for their organization. But that's the journey we're on from a business level, is trying to get procurement teams to have a strategy behind external workforce strategy and spend. And if they do that, ultimately pro teams will benefit, but so will many others in the market, because companies will start using the right suppliers for the right jobs. In terms of from a platform perspective, there's a lot we're doing around our UI and UX. There's a lot we're doing around our journey. A lot of our clients want very different experiences. Some want a very tech-heavy touch. They never want to deal with a person, and they just want to do everything through our platform. And others want the complete opposite of that, and they don't ever want to use another platform. They just want to speak to someone and get the problem solved. So we've got very mixed types of clients across tech companies and every type of company out there. And so we need the ability to be able to have a very seamless experience, regardless of how you want to work with us, but also ensuring from a visibility, a transparency, a reporting, and KPIs, everything is there visible for the team that need to be able to see that. So we're looking at doing a lot more on our platform to make that very seamless, from workflows, from the use of AI, from how people interact, from some basic things as well, learning notifications. There's a lot more we should and could be doing to improve that user experience for our customers and for our team as well. There's also a lot of efficiency gains we can have. I'd still say way too much of our job, and I think everyone is bored of me saying, are we using AI for that? Why are we not using AI for that? How can we use AI for that? But still far too much of people's jobs is still using spreadsheets or docs or slides, and it's still too much manual work in the business. And we definitely need to change that as we become more efficient.
Okay, let's switch to you, Danny. Who influences the way that you work? Name a person or many persons or something you look up to, and why.
So I've been lucky enough to have some very good mentors or coaches over the years. My last mentor he's now the chairman of the London Stock Exchange Group. He was the chairman of Experian, and I was CEO of Experian before that. And he was also chairman of one of the previous companies I worked at, which is how I got to know him. He was a US banker by background before all of that. So that's a very real life mentor, coach, someone I looked up to, saw in the boardroom, super likable character, and everyone really spoke very fondly of him, but also very strict and disciplined and got what he wanted. So definitely from a very real life perspective, that is someone that I very much looked up to. The other one is my granddad, passed away now, but granddad was an entrepreneur, a businessman, and amazing storyteller, and he achieved some amazing things in his life. Luckily, before he passed, I managed to, I was telling my grandparents, we need to turn your life into a story. Write a book, you're retired, come on. No time for that. So eventually me and my cousin filmed my nan and my granddad in their house over the course of a couple of years, and we took it as chapters. We filmed their story of their life. So luckily we got some stories out of his life before they were forgotten.
No, that's incredible. Way to take advantage of that opportunity. That's a moving story. Okay, Danny, last question. So you're getting on a plane and you're sitting next to a young entrepreneur who's built the next big thing. They're jazzed about it. They can't wait to show it off to the world and can't wait to show it off to you right there on the plane. What advice do you give that person, having gone down this road a bit?
My advice is the journey is very rarely smooth. There are bumps in the road. There are different things you need to work out at different stages of the journey, and keep going, listen to your customers, know when to listen, focus as well, focus on what you're trying to do. There's a big market out there. You don't need to capture every single person in the universe or every single company in the universe. There's a lot of white space and a lot of things to go after, but be curious, be customer obsessed. The best way to build a product is keep speaking to customers. I'm still surprised how little CEOs and founders speak to customers. I'm still shocked that most customers and people that are building the product are so far away, removed, and they're not with each other enough. So I would say, keep going, enjoy the journey, and get some mentors along the way, get some coaches to help you out.
I couldn't agree more. All that's fantastic advice. Danny, thank you for being on the show today, and thank you for telling the creation story of ProTeams.
It's great to meet you, Noah. Thanks so much.
And this concludes another chapter of Code Story. Code Story is hosted and produced by Noah Labhart. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the podcasting app of your choice. And when you get a chance, leave us a review. Both things help us out tremendously. And thanks again for listening.
What is Toyota affordability? It's buying smart. Right now, your local Toyota dealer has great deals on the fuel-efficient RAV4 and spacious Grand Highlander. Toyota, let's go places.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.